Good morning, evening, or night. Wherever you are, welcome to WHAM today. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's drift through the whispers of today's world, one quiet thought at a time. As we wrap up Tuesday, 29th April, 2025, let's see what stories are unfolding around us. China is pushing forward in AI with Qwen3, Alibaba's latest AI model, prioritizing open-source access. Despite us claims, China denies any active tariff talks between President Trump, Xi Jinping, and their senior advisors. China's ambassador also refuted suggestions of planned dumping of goods into India. Reflecting improved relations, China hosted its first K-pop concert in 9 years, signaling a potential diplomatic thaw. Turning to the United States, the Trump administration's tariffs are impacting small businesses dependent on Chinese imports. Temu has added import charges of roughly 145%, causing price hikes. Apple is projected by Evercore ISI to experience margin pressure from these tariffs, given its significant reliance on China for manufacturing. The U.S. maintains that tariff negotiations are underway between President Trump, Xi Jinping, and their key staff. United States economic forecasts face uncertainty as March saw a decrease in available job positions, an effect linked to the trade conflicts begun during Donald Trump's presidency. His early administration strategies, including tariffs and executive actions, caused market volatility and diminished international confidence, fueling fears of possible economic challenges. Concurrently, Tether, a cryptocurrency company previously facing regulatory scrutiny, has expanded its presence in the U.S., and its chief executive is actively working with politicians and lobbyists in Washington. Amidst geopolitical tensions, a high-ranking Russian military official died in a car bomb incident near Moscow. Russia has communicated that it is awaiting a response from Ukraine regarding a proposed ceasefire for the month of May, as well as the beginning of direct negotiations. According to TASS news agency, Dmitry Medvedev, a prominent Russian official, suggested that new NATO member states could be targeted by Moscow. India's stock market saw range-bound trading, with slight gains in the Nifty 50 and Sensex. The IT sector performed strongly, offsetting losses in the pharma sector. Foreign and domestic institutional investors increased their investments in large-cap stocks, seeking stability amid global economic uncertainty. Bharat Petroleum Corporation Limited, BPCL, announced its March quarter results and declared a dividend of Yok5 per share. Celica Gadgets signed NDAs with Shenzhen H&T and Shenzhen Jiazhou, planning to establish a manufacturing unit in India. Reported that India led the global IPO market in Qwen3 2025, raising $2 billion. United States consumers may soon see higher sneaker prices as Adidas anticipates the impact of tariffs. Adding to economic concerns, Deutsche Bank, despite a 39% profit increase, has increased its credit provisions, attributing this to uncertainty surrounding U.S. tariffs. Further, Amazon clarified that it had briefly considered, but ultimately rejected, disclosing the tariff portion of product prices, a move explored for its ultra-low-cost retail initiative. Canada recently held a closely contested election, which saw Mark Carney emerge victorious. Carney's campaign heavily criticized tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump, labeling them a betrayal. Carney and Pierre Poilievre both planned to challenge these tariffs. During the election, President Trump stirred controversy by suggesting that Canada should consider becoming the 51st U.S. state, a proposition that Carney vehemently opposed. Across Europe, stock markets saw a boost as HSBC, Lufthansa, and Adidas reported robust earnings. Simultaneously, anti-tourism groups are organizing coordinated protests on June 15. They are protesting rising rents and overcrowded conditions. Concerns are also rising regarding the degradation of local communities. European leaders are also finding it difficult to adjust to Donald Trump's renewed presidency. United States officials are considering using federal lands to build affordable housing, hoping to reduce housing costs, especially in Nevada. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is debating how to soften the blow of potential auto tariffs. One option involves keeping the tariff on imported vehicles and auto parts at 25%. Shifting to Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced new measures to support the country's steel and aluminum industries. These actions include investments in technology and infrastructure to help these sectors compete globally. In France, President Emmanuel Macron is facing ongoing protests over pension reforms. Unions are planning further strikes and demonstrations, raising concerns about potential disruptions to transportation and public services. Now, in Germany, Chancellor Olaf Scholz is working to address rising inflation. The government is considering a range of measures, including potential tax cuts and subsidies for low-income households. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni recently witnessed the signing of 12 cooperation agreements, one of which is focused on defense collaboration. The Turkish lira is exhibiting stability due to the central bank's stringent monetary policies designed to curb domestic and international trade vulnerabilities. Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba is scheduled to visit the Philippines to discuss Chinese aggression in disputed seas and the impact of US tariffs. The Philippines and Japan are close to finalizing a defense pact aimed at strengthening security cooperation amidst regional concerns. Korea Exchange is actively promoting night trading sessions in Singapore and Australia to enhance its competitive edge. Across Asia, share markets are largely up, mirroring a mixed performance on Wall Street, while tariff discussions continue to loom large. Automakers in Asia are experiencing a rally, fueled by the potential for tariff relief, although China is lagging due to delays in stimulus measures. Hong Kong's AS25 is set to promote healthcare innovation and collaboration, following a medtech company's successful partnership secured in Indonesia at AS 2024. Indonesian bonds are on track for their first foreign outflows in 5 months. Ant Steel in Hong Kong signals the beginning of a potential resurgence for the company. Tencent is looking to expand its operations into Bangladesh's market. Turning to Australia, the so-called miracle economy is confronting new challenges as the country prepares for upcoming elections. Australian shares have surged to a 2-month peak amidst optimism surrounding trade, with the share market closing positively after Trump eased auto tariffs. Moving to the Middle East, Hanwha is reportedly in advanced discussions with Saudi Arabia regarding potential arms collaboration. Wealth manager Stanhope Capital has plans to broaden its operations into Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia and Qatar have reached an agreement to settle Syria's outstanding debt to the World Bank. In Europe, the UK has unveiled draft regulations for the crypto industry, emphasizing closer cooperation with the United States. Poland is revising its 2025 economic growth forecast downward, citing risks associated with US policy. Spain is currently grappling with a widespread blackout, and the cause remains unknown. Switzerland is facing a housing shortage. Analysts suggest that policies enacted during Trump's presidency have driven the USD-CHF exchange rate to its lowest point. Regarding Ukraine and Russia, Putin has announced a ceasefire scheduled for May 8-10th, while Ukraine is advocating for an immediate cessation of hostilities. Shifting to Africa, Morocco is embarking on a project to provide landlocked Sahel countries, specifically Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, with access to the Atlantic Ocean's trade network. South Africa and Kenya are emerging as attractive destinations for private equity investment. Egypt has appointed a new commercial consul in São Paulo. In North America, the disruption stemming from Trump's tariff war has resulted in enduring shifts as countries adjust their economic strategies. Mexico and the U.S. have reached an agreement where Mexico will immediately increase water releases from the Rio Grande Basin to benefit Texas farmers. Finally, in South Asia, a Pakistan minister has issued a warning regarding an immediate threat of war with India. The Pakistani rupee has strengthened against the US dollar. And that's a wrap for today's news, because even headlines need a nap. Stay curious, stay kind, and let the noise fade as you find your quiet. Take care, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time on WHAM Today.